Work smarter, not harder. Save time but grow larger. Organize your life so you can have your business dream. Take risks, feel supported, and watch it all get sorted with Dani Louise, your business queen.
Hi, Dani Louise Smith here, the queen of business organisation, and I decided to do a vlog, so a video log of my journey in business and lessons that I learned, and sharing how I navigate this whole thing as a mom, as a wife of a man with a disability, as a family with many challenges. And I wanted to do a vlog on navigating through change because at the time of this video in March 2023 we have had a lot of changes happening that have been quite challenging, to say the least, and it's really important to kind of take the curveballs that life throws at you, go with the flow, but also not allow it to impact your business. And that is what I wanted to talk about today. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the challenges that I've recently faced. So over the last month I've barely done any work, and it is kind of driving me crazy now because I just want to get back to work because I'm creative. I love creative new things. I love helping people. I want to expand my business. I have goals I want to reach, and at this moment in time I've just moved into this beautiful new house, which is where I've blown all my savings. So I do want to build up my savings again to then work towards other goals, and it's just not happening. And it's not happening because I've not worked for 3 weeks. So I've still been making money, and which I'm so grateful of, because I have recurring revenue streams. I have client payments that are coming in even though I'm not physically working, and they're still paying for services that they're getting, and that is kind of a godsend. And I'm so grateful for this business that I have that is built in this way. So that's, I guess, tip number one from this navigating change, is to make sure that you have income streams that are still going to be coming in when you cannot physically work, because I'm on week 3 now of no work. And if I was just in my product business, which I still do, I haven't taken any work on in the last 3 weeks for that business because there is no revenue streams from that allow me to earn while I'm not working. So it's really important to think about that first and foremost, because when change happens, especially unexpectedly, unpredictable change and curveballs happen, one of the biggest challenges as a small business is that we are not able to earn, and it's really important to kind of prepare yourself for that. And I think it's something we need to think about right from the foundations of our business, right from the very beginning, and not a lot of people do or are not open to actually that kind of expansion. So this is probably your sign to do that, to think about that. And actually it's telling myself right now that I need to get my backside into gear and do that for my product-based business, because I haven't. But I guess that these changes that have happened have actually opened up doors and opened up an insight into what I need to do now to move my businesses forward and achieve my goals. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's been happening for me. So over the past 4 weeks, 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks and 2 days ago to be exact, my husband had knee replacement surgery. So his disability affects his mobility. Basically he's got multiple things going on, where this operation will help but not completely fix the issue. We're so grateful after waiting 10 years for actually, well, more than that, because it started when he was 15 and he's now 33. This has happened for all that time. So we've waited 10 years since this happened while we've been together to get this operation. Finally had it, which has been amazing, but obviously he helps a lot while I'm working. So while I'm doing the business, he's doing the school runs, he's taking care of the kids, he's cooking for us all, he's cleaning, doing the washing, and he's basically the housewife, which I hate that term because I feel like dads can do it too. Dads can stay at home, and it's more of a thing that we need to normalise these days as well. Lots of dads do stay at home and do the house duties and the home duties, and he does that, and he helps me as well in the business. He does a lot, so for him to be off his feet and resting is a massive change for me to navigate, because obviously I then have to do what he does on top of what I do. So that's okay. I prepared myself for it. I had 2 weeks notice of his operation. I told myself that I was going to work on an evening, which actually is not great for me because my energy doesn't work well on an evening. My body completely switches off, cashes out, is done. So I kind of realised that very, very quickly, that it's not right for me to work on an evening. So I started getting up at 4 a.m. and I started doing a couple hours work before the kids got up for school, so that my day could be then focused on the housework, the washing, the cooking, cleaning, all that stuff. So I was doing all of that. It was working quite well, but obviously these 4 o'clock starts really fastly began to send me to burnout. So I did adjust my schedule based on our new change of my husband being off his feet. And I guess that's something that's my second tip, is when you're facing these changes, prepare yourself for it by navigating changes in a way of adjustment. So look at what you physically can do. So that's what I did first and foremost, is I looked at what I can do. So I looked at, I can work on an evening, but then once I actually started doing the work on an evening, I wasn't getting very much done because my energy didn't work very well at that time. I then navigated to doing the mornings. Worked a lot better, but I was exhausted. So I then had to adjust again, and basically the adjustment there was I got up at 5 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock, give myself that extra hour, went to bed earlier, and that actually worked. I'd found that sweet spot. So sometimes it's about testing the waters and finding out what works with your energy levels and around your commitments. So that meant my days were like getting up at 5 and doing some work stuff. 7 o'clock, kids get up, feed them, get them ready, get them to school. Then I'd have a couple of hours through the day where actually I'd have 2.5 hours where I'd do some more work stuff. Then I'd go get my daughter from nursery, feed her, feed myself, feed my husband, help my husband and do the house stuff. And then before I know it, it was school run time again. And then we were doing the whole evening routine, like feeding the kids, showers, baths, getting ready for bed, getting everything ready for the next day. And it kind of just rolls into one. So that's kind of the routine that I got myself into, which worked really, really well. So my second tip is to prepare yourself, because preparation is key. Always, 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 always. But then the next thing happened, and that was we got the date for our new house. We got the viewing on the 1st of March, and we were able to get our keys on the 8th of March. So we never expected it to be so fast. And I was not prepared at all. I had started packing, and I'd been decluttering for a year, so I guess I was prepared, but I didn't expect to have 8 days notice to get the rest of my house packed up and get ready to move. So that was another bit of a challenge that I had to navigate. So my best tip here is, when life throws you curveballs, if there's any one thing that you can get done, that is content creation, because content is king for your business. If you have this string of things that just keep on happening in your life, you've got to accept it first and foremost. It's happening, and deal with it, rather than sitting there, oh my god, this is happening, what do I do, sort of thing. Which is, I guess we're allowed those moments. We're allowed those moments to sit and go, but then we've got to kind of pick ourselves up and move on. And so kind of did that, and it's, content is king, because if you are not able to do very much marketing, networking, income producing activities, at least do the content, at least have that, because at least you're still present and you're still showing up. So when you do physically come back into the business and be active, your presence is going to be known and not missed, and you're still going to be there, and people are not going to be any wiser until you kind of talk about what's happening, which is what I've sort of done. So I mentioned this because obviously this house move, it meant packing up my stuff without my husband's help because he was still resting. It meant doing everything very last minute in a full weekend so that we didn't have to pay extra rent, shopping and buying new things, deliveries not turning up, getting everything into the house, and then there was the unpacking, which actually I'm still going with. This cupboard behind me has got some stuff, my work stuff in, which I'm actually sorting through today and getting away, and then I'm done, hopefully done. So what I did to prepare for this week is, last week, amongst the madness of the packing, is I wrote my content for this week because I knew that this week I would be really, really busy with the house stuff. It was a given, and it's really, really important for my own mindset and to get this space sorted and nice and livable, basically, and not trying to get back to work whilst climbing over boxes and trying to figure out where everything is. So if I could just get everything in its place, then that's going to prepare myself for coming back. So I did the content. I'm so grateful I did, because the content has still been going out, and I've had another curveball thrown in this week. So do your content, write it, do your graphics, schedule it when you know you're about to have to navigate through a busy period of time. Make sure that you get it done, because content is king. It is the body of your business. It's the heart and the soul. It's what makes things happen. It's what gets people to build like, know and trust. It's what nurtures people. It's what gets a lead to become a customer. It gets people taking action, gets people, it creates brand awareness. It's all of those things. So it's really, really important that we are being visible, and we be visible with content. So create it, schedule it, get it done. So that when you are navigating challenges, you're still active without actually having to show up on social media. I've not really been on social media all this week. So I have been, I did an impromptu live the other day. I was supposed to do one yesterday, but the next curveball hit, and so I didn't, because I ended up visiting my husband in hospital for like all of 2 minutes. But basically, the next curveball was that my husband contracted an infection. So after 4 weeks post-op, he's got an infection in his leg, and it wasn't good. So he had to be admitted to hospital. He was going to be put in for emergency surgery, so it's kind of running around trying to prepare everything that he needed for that and find out what was going on. Dealing with the kids here and him being there. And then it was cancelled. He was put on IV drips for 24 hours, so one batch of 24 hours and then another. And he's still there now as I shoot this video. And it was kind of scary for a minute, because it could risk compromising the operation that he's just had, that he's waited 10 years for, which would put him in a wheelchair if it got that bad. And obviously, as we know with infections, they can, if they get so bad, they can actually kill you. So it was a little bit scary for a moment, because we didn't know how bad this infection actually was, and it didn't look good. But thankfully, he's been treated, and we are hopeful that he will come out the other end and get discharged within a few days. But this was a massive curveball, because I was prepared to start working again, and all of a sudden my husband was in hospital, so I couldn't, because first and foremost I had to get his things to him because he had nothing. So I did that, and I had no one to sit with the kids while I do client calls or while I do anything really in my business, because I cannot work around the kids at all. Just doesn't work. So that was my third and final curveball this past 3 weeks, and it's been a challenge to say the least. But my tip for that is to not push yourself and accept that it's okay. So if you've done the other things that I've talked about when navigating change, so preparing yourself, content, if you've done those things, then it's okay to take that step back, because you know that you've still been visible, because you have, you've looked at your schedule and you've worked things out, you've done your content, you've still been visible. It's okay then to take a step back, to rearrange orders or client appointments, depending on what your business is. So for me, I've got orders booked in, but the things have not arrived, so I can't start them yet anyway, and I don't have a dedicated workspace. So, well, I do, but not everything's not in place for me to start work yet, but fingers crossed it will be by Monday. So there's that. And then I have no internet because it couldn't be transferred over straight away. So I won't have internet until next week, which means I cannot do Zoom calls, because the Zoom calls that I do, I live stream to my mastermind ladies. So I can't do that. So it then takes that opportunity away, because if I do it, there's a chance that it's just going to boot me off every 5 minutes, and that is not what we want when I'm trying to coach. So I had to make that decision to not offer my services, take that away, because I'd rather not do it than do it and it completely be frustrating for my clients. Because if I show up and I just get cut off, and this has happened before, and I get cut off every 2 minutes, you can't physically be in that space, in that moment, tapping into the energy of your coach and mentor when it just cuts off every 5 minutes. And for me also, it's about caring for myself and putting my own self first so that I can be the best coach and mentor. So what that means is that in your business, you've got to care for yourself, your health, your well-being, your mind, your body first, to then be the best service giver you can be. Because as a rule of thumb, if I'm ill, like say I have to be like properly ill, like a few sniffles, I'll show up. Migraine, no, I won't, because I won't even be able to think straight. Or when my husband goes to hospital and I have no internet, I won't show up, because if I've been unpacking boxes all week and moving home, I am not in my best energy, and I want to be in my best energy to serve my customers, to serve my clients. So as a rule of thumb, I do not do that. So that's another bit of a tip and a bit of advice for you, is to step back and take care of yourself first, to then allow yourself to come back and give and deliver the best service you possibly can. Because it's important for you and for them, and your clients should understand and probably will be thankful for it, because they're going to want you in your best energy as well. So it's really, really important to do that. So just a couple of things when it comes to navigating change. Fingers crossed now, change will settle down for me. It's been a manic month. I swear to God, we get everything at once. Like, what is the universe trying to tell me? We really do. We get everything at once. So we've had my husband's operation. We've had the house move. We've had him contracting the infection. In with all of that, we've had me not having a dedicated workspace. We've had no internet, and I don't even know if there's anything else. It's just been absolutely crazy. But I'm kind of grateful for everything. Grateful that I'm in this beautiful home. Grateful that I'm able to now start working towards my next goal, which is building an amazing office that I can work from. I'm grateful that I've got a dedicated space to put all my things. So in front of me right now, I've got a bookshelf which has got all my books in. It's got my crystals on top, and I've actually got some what are they called? Cauldrons and a candle. And you're actually balanced. My camera is balanced against a candle right now as well. I've got all of that stuff in its dedicated space, which I love. I love having everything in its space and just being able to see it all and go and grab what I need. I've got drawers with all my craft stuff in, because I've got multiple hobbies. So I guess be organised is my final tip, because if everything is in its place, it becomes a lot easier to manage. So I've got my craft drawers, which have got my paint stuff in, my crochet stuff in, my drawing stuff, my colouring stuff, my stationery, all of that, so that when I need to take that time for myself and do something creative, I know exactly where they are. So being organised is key for kind of everything, for life, not just business. And I feel more organised now. Like I always say, I'm the queen of business organisation, because if you see my house, it is not organised at all. But actually, that has changed. This is another change during this move, is that it's allowed me to declutter, it's allowed me to free up space, and it's allowed me to step into the version of myself that I wanted to create. That version that has, everything in its place, keeps on top of the housework, which, let's just say, being a mum in business and doing all the housework on your own, not easy. hats off to you single parents, because it is not easy. I feel like it's just been me running the show this week, and it's not been easy at all. Even if I just had my husband there just to moan, to like, oh my god, the kids are driving me mad, which I haven't had, or the house is driving me mad, which I haven't had. So yeah, just be organised as well. Have everything in its dedicated space. Work with what you have, because we don't always have a dedicated workspace. Like, I don't have at the minute. Nothing is perfect. Even if I did, it might not be big enough. It might not be, great. You don't know. So work with what you have, because that's the best you can do, basically. Work with what you have, and be grateful for what you do have along the journey, and navigate those changes with positivity, and just take the next relevant step. You can do it. You absolutely can. So let me know what you've taken away from this video. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know how you found this vlog, what you got from it, what your biggest insight was. Can you relate? Has anything like this happened to you? And has it impacted your business? How have you navigated it? Share your stories with me, because I'd love to know. And of course, if you're navigating change at the moment and you want some tips, leave us a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can and share my thoughts for you in how you can organise your way to navigate that change. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.
Take risks, feel supported, and watch it all get sorted with Dani Louise. She's quite sensational, Dani Louise, and organisational, Dani